What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to my man,
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How is your week?
How is your life?
Going.
That's a little bit of Miguel there. Going. So, what's crack-a-lackin'? What's new?
What's new?
I'll tell you what's new.
What's new?
Babies.
Everybody's busting out babies.
Yes. Been shopping for babies. I'm so glad that it's not for us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. No,
I was just talking to one of my signers.
What would you do? What would you do?
I would choke you out because you're supposed to be fixed.
Okay.
No, I would take responsibility.
For getting yourself pregnant? You did this to us.
Man. I would cry. Your mom would be ecstatic. My mom would be ecstatic.
Oh
We'd have a lot of happy people.
It just wouldn't be us. It just wouldn't be us.
I'd be like, okay, mom. I'd be telling your mom, okay, I know you were going to move here, maybe a couple years from now, but now, no, you got to move now because this baby. We need to start making plans. Because I'm having this baby for you.
Yeah. We're giving the baby away. Hey, that would be a good giveaway for the podcast.
Listen, right? Hey, no, can you, I can't imagine having to wake up multiple times at night.
It's crazy. It's been forever.
I am so grateful for where we are right now. Like, our kids are independent for the most. I mean, they still need us, but I mean, if Joey's hungry, he's not waiting for me. No. Yeah. He's going to go and he's going to eat. Yeah. And, Audrey's 11. She's, and, they're getting to that age to where you and I are going to be able to go out and not have to have a babysitter.
Audrey's 11 and she's working her way up to Joey's level so that she can start making herself something to eat.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
She did today.
Did she?
Yeah.
Wait, you lied.
She made a grilled cheese.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I was going to say a protein bar does not count.
Yeah.
Because that's her. She'll come down and she's like, "Hey, mom, what's for lunch?" She came down the other day. "Hey, mom, what's for lunch?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "I'm working right now."
Yeah.
But normally, like, if I'm not working at noon, I try, to take a break in between my appointments so that, I can come home and make you lunch.
Yeah.
Because that's nice to be able to sit down in the middle of the day and have lunch with you and drink afternoon coffee with you.
Yeah.
We are so damn old.
We are.
When we enjoy.
What the hell happened?
It's great though. Like, I was just sharing with the signer. First of all, we were talking about this because we were about the same age. And we started talking about babies because she's like, "What are you going to do today?" "I'm going to go finish my shopping for my great nephew." And then the conversation just came up. And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know what I would do either."
It's crazy.
But we started talking about just where we're at. Like, this is a good age. We enjoy where we are. I wouldn't want to be 25 again. Like,
No, I'm good.
I enjoyed my years. Like, I don't have any regrets.
I'm thinking about moving to the forest.
To the forest?
I was telling you, hey, we need to get off the grid.
Yeah.
Not too far because we need an internet connection. But then you start thinking about shit. It's like, I need lights.
Yeah. Like, life is good. I enjoy where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to go back. I'm good.
No, these are good times. I mean,
well, not
considering everything.
Everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Crack in a glass.
Crack in a glass?
Crack in a glass.
That's a rock star?
Is that, yes, a rock star. It's so pretty though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
It's pretty.
These Truly energy drinks are pretty good too.
Yeah, those are all right. They're all right.
Yeah, you drink enough of them. Well, if you drink too many, you'll throw up. But you drink enough and, you start feeling different. Feels good. And actually, this one that I'm drinking is blueberry acai. Acai. So it's full of antioxidants. This energy drink is good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Look up Truly's.
No,
people.
we just found out about like the. Yeah. Well, no, I've had a couple.
Niece.
I've had a couple of the other seltzers, but I like these better. They have more flavor.
Do they?
Than the other ones, yeah.
Yeah, our niece introduced us to those, so.
Yeah.
And ever since then, Miguel's been on it every day. No, I'm just kidding.
Whatever. But or maybe.
Hey.
But so we are actually recording this podcast a little bit early, or a lot of bit early. We're recording this on a Wednesday because we're going to Mexico for the weekend. By the time you guys hear this, we'll already be back from Mexico.
Oh, I'm like, just let the world know we're not going to be home. My sister's going to be watching our house.
No, not yet. But we're going to Mexico because of our medical system's all jacked, so we got to go do some dental stuff down there. Freaking, it's sad actually that we have to go somewhere else because everything is just crazy.
Even with insurance, it's so cheaper to get it done there. And a good friend of ours recommended, and that's where his entire family goes. So he's like, hey, you should check them out. And we are all about saving money, as you know, if you listen to our podcast. And so it is what it is. And we're going to be heading up and returning in time to celebrate Miguel's 37th birthday.
Yay. Ooh. Oh my God.
Home in the pool.
Yeah. But
with a case of Truly's.
You know what? Actually, since we have a big listenership, or the majority of our listeners, I don't think anything is big, but we have the majority of our listenership is in Arizona. If you guys haven't been to Mexico, like there's a place, it's called Los Algodones, and it's a border town. Mm-hmm. And the nickname for that town is Molar City.
That is just crazy.
No, for real. Like, I saw it on the news. I've never actually been there. I mean, we have friends that have been there and everything, but I saw it on the news about Molar City is like a legit place on the border of Mexico. Like, it's in Mexico to go get dental work done. Like, way cheaper, and they have like state-of-the-art equipment. I mean, that's what they do. They cater to Americans that don't want to pay so much, and they go down there. And some doctors are even American. So... yeah.
And some of them take insurance.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, and they set you up, like they know the hotels to stay at. I mean, they know the whole deal. And that's when you're on this side of the country, you do that. But then you also have people that are on the east coast of the country that go down to Costa Rica, and they have like dental vacations where it's a similar thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's a similar thing where you go to Costa Rica to get dental work done. Uh-huh. And like they know the hotels, they know the setup. That's and funny. You go down there.
So I saw this on Facebook. One of my Facebook friends said going to Mexico to get a new butt.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh?
Yeah, for real. Do you know what? Actually, my dad
got a new butt.
He did not get a new butt. No. No, because my dad's from Ecuador and he works for American Airlines, so he flies for free. And when he needs medical stuff done, like something major that he has to get done, he'll go down to Ecuador because it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, we're supposed to be bringing jobs back to the United States, but here we are.
Well, you know what it is the lawsuits. The insurance companies, like they're just fucking everything up. So people got to go to other places to get medical work.
No bueno, no bueno. So I've gotten a couple calls this week, which I haven't mentioned to you.
Oh, geez.
But
calls about what? So,
as most of you know, we are in Legal Shield. And Legal Shield is a network marketing company.
Yeah.
And, we were... would you say top executives? We were leaders in the marketplace. And no one's ever tried to recruit me outside of Legal Shield.
Okay.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody's ever tried to get you to do something else?
I think one other after Legal Shield. But before, no one ever approached me.
Oh, okay.
Regarding network marketing.
Okay.
And...
you've been getting hit up?
I've been getting hit up. And so, and this is a friend, you know, and he's just like, hey, let's sit down on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, and I give him a call and he's like, listen, he's like, I know, you know, you're happy doing what you're doing. And I'm like, no, I really love what I do. Like I do. I enjoy, you know, the firm, the signing agency.
Yeah.
I love it. And, you know, I told him, I said, but you're a friend. So I will listen to what it is that you're doing. Yeah. And it's exchanging currencies.
Okay.
And I said,
that might not be a bad idea.
But as soon as he said that, I said, that does not interest me. Like it just, he's like, I know you love to help people. He's like, I know that. I know you don't, whatever you decide to do, I know that it's all about helping people. He's like, and this is helping people. And so I said, I'll take a listen. I know.
They taught him that.
I'm like, yeah, I know. Come on. He's using our stuff. You know what I'm saying? What we know. Yeah. But I know he's genuine. Yeah. So that's why I wouldn't mind. And he's younger. Hey, I'll take a listen. And I told him, I said, you know, my husband might be the one to understand this whole currency and whatever. Like for me, I'm going to shut that down just because
you're not into it.
It's just, you know, so
you
that
don't have a
I
passion.
told him,
there's no excitement for you in it.
Right. So I told him, I said, we'll sit, you know, I told him that we'll sit with him and take
So you're dragging me into this thing?
Well, yeah, just, you know,
what the hell?
Just, I don't know. Just because it's something that you will maybe, you might be interested in or understand what the hell he's talking about.
Dragging me into your stuff?
But we are one, love. When we said, I do, we became one.
Nice.
So, yes, I am. Then after that, you were here when I got a call or a text message from one of my associates in Legal Shield who I mentored, and I was very close to her and she was dear to my heart, and she's actually in real estate now. She got her real estate license, and it's so funny because she's like, I'm like, hey, we need to meet up, you know, so that I'm pretty much in the same industry.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe I can help you out and vice versa. And she's like, you know, they asked me to make a list of, what did she say? The most successful individuals that I know. She's like, so I gave you a call.
So I instantly thought of you.
Yeah. But, you know, even in the past when her and I were talking, because she comes from very, you know, humble beginnings, whatever. And so I know that she was being sincere. But when you and I were talking, I'm like,
we know
she's
all the
using,
tricks. Right? Anytime anybody,
but she didn't know. I don't feel that that's where she was.
I don't think that. No, I know her too. I don't think that's where where that came from. No, but it's funny, man. Anytime one of your friends, would you be interested in making some additional income? We're like, oh shit, here we go.
And it's not.
What do you got?
Like, if it was something like personal, I mean, there may be some things that
but we
I
were
may
those
take
people,
a listen.
So, you know, to be fair.
Yeah, you know, and it was true. Like when we did reach out, it's because we felt it in our heart.
Yeah.
You know, it was not just, you know, something to say to hook them.
Yeah. No, and the truth is, like, that is one of the, like, if you've been in it, like, you know, and it's just funny, but it doesn't mean that whatever they're doing isn't legit.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, we just know the techniques, and it's funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then I met with someone today. I was helping them close on their loan, and he said, what else do you do besides this? He's like, because I could tell you've been an entrepreneur for quite some time. And so I'm like, oh, you know, I'm executive of Legal Shield. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, do you know who Steve Parker is? He lives right across the street. I'm like, yeah, I know Steve Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, he lives right across the street. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Small world.
Yeah.
You know, but someone else had hit me up for something else. And I'm just like, man, they're coming
out of the
for
woodwork.
me.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not a bad thing. Like I tell people, I'm like, you know what? Network marketing is what helped open my mind to bigger things. It got me to dream again. It got me to it actually introduced me to being an entrepreneur and everything that comes along with that, with personal development.
To be honest, when I first saw it, I thought it was a scam. Like straight up.
See, I did not. Like
straight up. But this is the thing, is I barely, like, I was in the military and I was young and I barely had any money anyway. And I was like, this, like, so Legal Shield it's a little bit different because you're not selling like stuff. Like, you're selling a legal plan,
you're
legal
not selling vitamins
so at least that to me made it a little bit more legit. Like, we're dealing with law firms and that kind of thing. So, but still, I didn't really grasp how you got paid. I didn't realize that it was similar to insurance, but I thought it was a scam. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it anyway because I can see how the money works and I can see that I could make money.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? Yeah. Like, they rob me and steal $200 out of my account. Yeah. I'll just close it and open another one. Because at that point in my life, I didn't give a shit. Yeah, I was like, whatever. But I knew that I was going to start working right away and I would find out if this thing actually worked. And it did. And I got paid and I was like, all right, well, let's do it.
For me, it was, I was in the legal industry. I was a paralegal and I was familiar with Davis Smiles.
Yeah.
So that wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thought. I just found a way to where I can help people and they can actually afford the services.
Yeah. Yeah, because you were...
and I needed the services because I was a victim of identity theft and they helped me. So immediately I knew this thing worked. And I think that's what helped me.
That was a perfect thing for you because you understood the value right away.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways.
But it is funny when people come up to you. It's like, we know. Do you want to come over to my... we're having a get-together at my house. And they told me to invite my best friends. I was like, and I thought of you. It's like, dude, I haven't talked to you in like 5 years.
See, that's funny. So that was Miguel's approach. My approach was, because I was a party animal, I was always having get-togethers at my house. And so, people, my family and friends knew I did well. So when I said, hey, I'm having a party at my house.
Say no more. We're there.
Yep. And I found a way to where I can help you guys make some money. They knew I was already making money doing what I was doing. So when I offered, hey, I found another way to make more money and you guys can get involved, they were there. And that's because I was that person. Like, I love to have fun. Whenever I invite, that's what I said. Yeah. That's it. I found, have fun, make money. And who doesn't want to have fun and make money?
Yeah.
And then from there, it just
took off.
But I tell people, if you've never done it, don't knock it. Get in it. Learn what you can.
Yeah.
Because the business concepts, like everything they teach, I brought into Trust Inc.
Yes.
And that's how Trust Inc. was built.
You know what? Even with this podcast, there's so many things that we've gotten out of the business. In Legal Shield, we had this thing where they would always say that success loves speed. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
Like, you can't just little by little do a little bit. Like, success loves speed. And it's the compounded, like the hard work over and over. And I was kind of thinking to myself, even about the podcast, something that we used to do in our business back in the day was called a 90-day run. Right?
Right.
Where you kind of block out everything for 3 months.
I never did that. I never could do that.
Yeah. Well,
I never wanted to.
This is the thing, is that you block out everything for 3 months and you focus 100% on your business. I mean, if you have a job, you focus on your job when you're working. But outside of your job, you're not going to birthday parties. You're not doing any of the other, like, you're focused 100% for 90 days on your business. And then you watch the momentum that happens afterward and you can just kind of ride that and keep working. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, you know what, for our podcast, like, what if I just, for 90 days, just decided, you know what, this is it. 100% of my attention is going to go to this. I mean, what could happen? Like, only good things can happen. Right?
Yeah. No,
and then the momentum happens and then things start to take off. And that's when people are like, oh, wow, look at that. They just, but they don't realize what you dedicated to it.
Right. And so Miguel and I met in Legal Shield. I mean, he showed up at a business event and I saw that smile and I was like, boy toy. No.
What the?
Boy toy, boy toy.
Nice.
Because I wasn't looking for anything serious. You know, I was having fun at the time. So I just thought you would be a whole lot of fun. And then I married you.
Then I got you pregnant.
But people always ask, how did you two meet?
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. You know, he wanted my knowledge and I wanted to play.
No. But no, like you were saying, and we were talking about it last week, like if you've never tried it, it sounds crazy, right? If you've never tried it, don't knock it. But if you've never tried it, like you just don't know really what it's about. And you don't have to sign up. You just check it out and learn. Yeah. You know, I mean, there are a lot of great lessons, kind of like we were talking about the Second Amendment, like people that have a strong opinion about something, and it's like, dude, you don't know shit about it. You don't know shit about it.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, I could look at a company or at something, I'd be like, dude, this is a straight up fucking scam. You know, because I've been part of legit things before. Things that people that are ignorant, that don't know, they'll call this a scam when it's actually not. When they don't realize that most of the world or a lot of the world operates in the same exact way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, for sure.
But you just don't know any better because you don't have that experience.
And I think I know with us, we are that way though. We won't knock. Like we're always willing to try something new.
Yeah. We're pretty open-minded.
Right. Yeah.
About everything.
Not about everything. Not about everything.
About a lot of things.
Like, we ain't doing no threesome.
Shit. No.
Yeah, no. And we've talked about that, but we also know that what we have is great. Why are you doing that?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, yeah. You just got to learn. That's it.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, I don't know. Oh, we got on that because people are trying to.
We're talking about business, Second Amendment, then you start talking about threesomes and shit. The hell?
Well, because you're saying we're open to everything, like letting the world know, hey, if you're interested in joining,
and your brain,
hey, we're okay.
And your brain went straight to the bedroom.
Well, because I was reading your mind.
Okay. But there's something that I saw that I just want to mention it real quick. I don't know if you have any thoughts about it, but it's fucking stupid, but it's super dangerous. And it's something that's going around right now on TikTok, and it's called the Benadryl challenge. And apparently kids are doing this, and they're taking a shit ton of Benadryl, which anybody can just buy over the counter. But if you take enough Benadryl, like you start hallucinating and you start acting weird, like you just start fucking tripping pretty much. Like you just start tripping, and kids are doing this and recording it and putting it on TikTok.
Are you kidding me?
And there's kids that are dying from it. So in case you guys are out there and you have kids that are on TikTok or they're following the social media and they're up on all the challenges and all the new shit that's happening out there, this is one of the new things that's out there, is the Benadryl challenge. So make sure you guys are paying attention to what the kids are doing, what they're into, and you know what they're looking at, you know, because that's scary. Good thing is our kids, they don't have TikTok, and one of them's down a tablet for a while. So it is what it is, you know. Yeah. But you gotta be involved. You can't just, especially when it comes to the social media thing.
How did you find out about that?
I don't know if it came up like in my feed or like my news feed, because I have like what is it, Google Now or Google Assistant, and I've told you about it, where it just kind of pulls up cards that you might be interested in. So for me, it's all like fighting, you know, jujitsu
and Benadryl.
And this popped up, you know. I don't know.
I'm like, why?
I don't know why. It's like, you might be into the Benadryl challenge. It was telling me.
What in the world?
Yeah.
So the kids are starting school on the 8th, and I've been bombarded with emails, and it's just,
yeah.
I know we're supposed to go with it, you know, with change and it, but I'm not excited for what's about to happen, you know, with the kids having to wear the mask every day. I mean, we could keep them home, But the kids are wanting, to go back. And our kids are not doing well with this whole, Chromebook.
Yeah.
Homeschooling. Yeah, they're just not. So.
Yeah, well, I guess you roll with the punches. You see
roll with the punches or get punched.
Pretty much.
That's a good shirt.
Yeah, I mean that's just that's what comes with change. You just got to figure it out because this year, the end of last year when it came to school was a shit show, and then the beginning of this year is already a shit show when it comes to school because everybody's scrambling trying to figure out how to do things.
Yeah,
and then now we're going from online school. So if your kids are getting used to online schooling, well, guess what? That's going to end, and now you're going to go in.
Well,
so I don't
here in Gilbert, because we live in Mesa, but we're Gilbert School District.
Stop putting our business in the streets.
They are giving the parents the option to keep their kids at home. But I don't feel that that's the right move with our kids.
Yeah. No, I'd have trouble. Being a kid, I have trouble. I'm an adult working from home. Right. Shit, I'd have trouble being a kid. I was literally thinking about that today. Like Audrey, our daughter, is upstairs by herself in the room on her Chromebook working. If I was a kid, I wouldn't do a fucking thing. Nothing. Like I would just be doing other shit.
So you would do what she did.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, no,
my God.
I would in school. I would probably need to be in an online meeting where I could be called out the entire time. Yeah. Because besides that, I really didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So. And it's tough.
I want to read this post, and it has to do with change, because so many of us are going through lots of changes. And our daughter is going through some changes, and maybe you're that person who has been going through a difficult time. Maybe you've been laid off from your job and you're looking to do something new, or maybe, there's been a change in your relationship and, you're down and out. I found it was shared from a friend from Positive Wall Post on Facebook. And every time I read this, it makes me cry. I'm going to try to keep it together. But I read this to our daughter as well. Because anyways, I'm just going to go. Okay, so it says, "Hello, God." And God says, "Hello. I'm falling apart. Can you put me back together?" God says, "I'd rather not." "Why?" "Because you're not a puzzle." "What about all the pieces of my life that fall to the ground?" God, "Leave them there for a while. They fell for a reason. Let them be there for a while and then decide if you need to take any of those pieces back." "You don't understand. I'm breaking." God, "No, you don't understand. You're transcending. You're evolving. What you feel are growing pains. You're getting rid of the things and people in your life that are holding you back. The pieces are not falling down. The pieces are being put in place. Relax. Take a deep breath and let those things no longer need fall down. Stop clinging to pieces that are no longer for you. Let them fall. Let them go. Once I start doing that, what will I have left? God, only the best pieces of yourself. I'm afraid to change. God, I keep telling you, you're not changing, you're becoming. Becoming who? God says, becoming who I created you to be. A person of light, love, charity, hope, courage, joy, mercy, grace, compassion. I made you for so much more than those shallow pieces you decide to adorn yourself with and that you cling to with so much greed and fear. Let those things fall off you. I love you. Don't change. Become. Don't change. Become. Become who I want you to be, who I created. I'm going to keep telling you this until you remember. There goes another piece. God, yes, let it be like this. So I'm not broken? God, no, but you're breaking the darkness like dawn. It's a new day. Become who you really are. Isn't that beautiful? I read that and I think back to the times where I was going through some things, and I remember that the things that I had to let go in order to become the person that I am today.
Yeah.
And at the time when you're going through these difficult times, you don't see it. You don't see it until you become,
Yeah.
And I don't know who needs to hear that, but I know that there are many out there.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to this.
I've mentioned it on the podcast before, and it's been a long time, but sometimes when we're going through hard things, it's like you're in the center of a hurricane. Like I've mentioned this before. And when you're in the center of this hurricane, like you can't see your way out. Like you look around and it's gray, storm, chaos everywhere. And sometimes that's how people feel. It's just that like everything is happening. It's like one thing happens, another thing happens, and then holy fuck, right on time, this other thing that I do not need right now happens. And it's just like, you have no idea what to do. But after every hurricane, every hurricane passes.
After the rain comes the rainbow.
And you can't see that you're almost out of it, and the sunshine is coming.
Yes.
So, if you're going through those tough times, you gotta just understand you gotta hang in there. But I know it's tough. It's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry.
No, so
I think that's just, it's beautiful. It's touching. And
so we've been reading not reading. We haven't been reading. We've been listening to this book, Raising Lions, by Joe Newman, right?
Yeah.
And if you guys want to pick up Raising Lions by Joe Newman, you guys can go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. And if you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com, you can share the show. You can watch the show there. You can listen to it. You can leave us a comment. You can send us a message. But if you click on the tab at the top that says support the show, it'll take you to our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase through Amazon doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps out the show. They give us a couple pennies every time you buy something, and it really helps out the show. The other thing that you'll see is a link to Trust Inc. And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary agency. We do a lot of work with law firms and title companies. You yourself, if you're looking at refinancing or purchasing, you can actually request Trust Inc. And it doesn't matter where you live. And we, will be there to help you refinance or close that loan.
Excellent. And if you guys want to go to Trust Inc. directly, you can go to trustinkusa.com. And wherever you're listening to this podcast or watching it, you guys can, if you want to help us out, you guys can leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up. Any of the interaction, it all helps. But we definitely appreciate it. And we're also affiliates with Libsyn, who is where we host our podcast. And if you guys have thought about starting a podcast, you can use the promo code OAP on Libsyn, and they'll give you the rest of whatever month you sign up in for free. And you can get the next month for free by using promo code OAP, and you can get your podcast started and hosted there. And that's where some of the biggest podcasts in the world are hosted and distributed. So
very, very nice. Cool beans.
But we've been reading this book, Raising Lions, and I said last week, I like it already. I like it so far. I'm barely on chapter 2, but it's one of these things like where I've kind of I always kind of had this feeling that like people are just too soft on kids nowadays. Like I always told, like whenever
I've always you would always get on me because
everybody, like everything is so fucking perfect.
Yeah.
There is no wrong that these kids can do. A kid takes a shit on a piece of paper. You got to fucking hang it on the refrigerator. Like for real.
Well, it's not, baby. It's not taking. But you're right. Like I'm listening and that's why I said we do very well together, because I'm here to lift them and you're here to
knock them down a peg.
We're perfect together. But it's like if your kid is not doing well and you praise them for not doing well, and then they continue to grow up, and whenever they do wrong, you're still, good job, baby, good job. And everyone gets a trophy. And
Hey, so let's say one of the kids brings you one of their paintings. They painted something. What do you say to them?
Interesting.
Before they bring you some shit.
But they're
no. What do you say? What do you say?
Good job, baby. I love it. And I put it on the fridge.
And then Dad walks in.
You do not.
Not so fast.
You do not.
No, I'm just kidding.
Not with a painting.
No. But no, it's true though. Like in sports, you know what? That is one place where I remember with the kids, you can tell when a kid is putting in effort. You know, and when the kids are like, they would be doing sports, playing soccer, playing whatever. You know, if they didn't do well, I'm not gonna sit here like, well. And this is the thing: if they didn't do well and they didn't try, like, well, one of our kids has a little bit of trouble, but you know, he'll get negative.
Yeah, he doesn't like to lose. He doesn't like to lose. And if he's not doing well, he'll quit.
It's over.
Yeah, he's done.
And I'm like, well, dude, yeah, today was not good. It was not your best day. And but some people say, hey, it's okay. You know, that happens. You can get them next time. And it's like, no, this is some shit we need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, because that's not okay. It's not cool. And
see, and there is a fine line. Like, now, if they're doing their best, like, you know, when they're doing their best and they lose, hey, baby, it's okay. It's all okay. Good. And I think that's where we have to be aware.
Yeah. It's okay to lose. And if you care that much, if you want to get better, then we can get better. We got to work.
Yes.
We got to work.
Yes.
But it's not like, oh, don't worry about it. You're still the best. You know, everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah.
It's not the case.
Well, that's why we deal with individuals that feel entitled. Kids, when they grow up and they start feeling entitled, and now the parent is like, you entitled little brat, and they say, you got to look in the mirror and see. And that's what this guy's telling us. Like, the kids are a reflection of us.
And I'm not saying like just shit on them every chance you get, but just you have to have some tact. Mm-hmm. You have to do it the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what we're learning in this book. But the kids, and this is something that I've known, but I need to remember, is the kids are way smarter than you think they are. Oh. Even when they're little. When they're little, they're way smarter. And right before we started this podcast, they were talking about how kids, when they hit the terrible twos, like when they hit the terrible twos is when they're realizing that the world doesn't revolve around them.
Right. That
they have their life and that their parents actually have a separate life. That their parents don't just follow them around, whatever. We're not there to cater to them, to their needs. Like whenever a kid does, when a baby or a 2-year-old, when they do something wrong, or like the example that he was giving is like, if they roll towards the edge of the bed and they go roll off it, they expect the parent to go and catch them. But then when they start getting older, they realize that the parent doesn't have to catch them. The parent can do whatever they want. Their parent is autonomous, separate from them, right? And that's when they start crying, they start doing things, and they start figuring out how to manipulate. Now, this is the thing, is that if a kid at 2 or 3 years old is learning how to manipulate, I was just thinking this to myself when he was talking about it. If you don't check that like right away, you're going to get a kid that is developing language skills, like they're thinking more, they're getting smarter, and they're still learning how to manipulate even more. If you don't, cut that out. Yeah. So that's when it starts to get dangerous, is if you don't stop it right away and the kid starts getting older and older and older and older, and now they have all these skills and they've been manipulating people their whole life. Now you got a problem. Yeah.
And that is something that you can reverse. So if you're listening to this and your child is like 10 or 11 years old, it's something that you can reverse.
It is a really good book though. Yeah.
And it comes with, but the thing of it is that everyone has to be involved. mom and dad have to be on the same page. And if you're co-parenting, this could be way challenging because one parent is doing something totally different and you are doing something totally different. Yeah. And so this poor kid is going to be so confused. So if you are co-parenting a child, I would suggest that you both read this book, Raising Lions. Yeah. So that you guys are on the same page. And if you guys are not on talking terms, we'll pray for you. Yeah, you can only do so much. That's it. You can only do so much. So do your part. Do your part. And hey, whatever the other parent's doing, just when the child gets older, they'll see. Understand. They'll understand and they'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But yeah, it's good.
And it's hard. It is. And now, do you understand? Now, when they say that, being a parent is the hardest job, because you used to make fun when I would say that, like being a parent it's a difficult job because if you don't know whether you're, if you're raising them the right way because that's all you've been taught.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't go on a search. I mean, him and I.
And the other thing is when you've been raised a certain way, you might feel like that's the best way to do it. Right. And it may not be. So, but the thing is that it could be. And you don't want to throw away the things that happened when you were growing up, the way you were parented. Like some things you want to keep and some things you may not want to. Right. But it's not that everything was wrong and everything was right. Yeah.
You have to have a balance. And that's with everything in life. You have to have a balance, so that's why I say us parenting together.
Well, no, one of the things that I'm thinking is like when a lot of people they feel like, when I grow up, I'm not going to parent my kids the way I was parented.
And they go the total
opposite way. And it's like, dude, you went too far.
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not all bad.
So when I don't know what made us, we've always been into personal development. But I think when Audrey started getting a little older, or Joey actually, because Audrey was she was just easy.
She was easy.
She was easy. And Joey's more challenging.
They're both challenging in their own way.
Right. Well, now she is. Yeah. Now that she's 11, we have to learn how to, parent an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
So we started looking for answers. And that's the thing is, when there's so much information out there that we started looking for answers through books, parenting classes, whatever we can, talking to individuals that, have raised kids and are in a happy marriage and, were willing to sit with us and talk to us about the things that they did or the things that they wish they didn't do. Yeah. And that, I think that's what helped us, and this book is a book that was recommended through a client of mine. And I was talking to them about Joey, and it's been really informative.
It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah.
So yeah, so last week you were asking me about the Airforce. Actually, we finished up the podcast. You were asking, like we never really talk too much about the Airforce, but there was something that I saw in the news that pops up because I'm into Air Force stuff and jets and aviation and all that. But recently they had, DARPA. DARPA is a company that does like secret military, like advanced military weapons and software and all that kind of stuff. Well, DARPA developed AI, artificial intelligence, and they put it into a software to be a pilot. So it's pretty much an F-16 drone pilot or an F-16 pilot in the software and or like in the simulator, and they had an actual F-16 pilot fly against the AI. And the F-16 pilot lost 5-0 against the computer.
That doesn't surprise me.
Now, I was watching a couple things about it, and they were saying like, what does that mean? Because a couple or a few months ago, or maybe a year ago, Elon Musk he went to like some kind of conference or something with the Air Force, and he said he said a statement at this conference at the Air Force that the fighter era is over. Like the actual pilot fighter era is over. Imagine sitting in front of the Air Force and telling them this era is gone. Like you guys all
we don't need you anymore.
You guys in your flight suits, pack it up, go home because it's over. And now you have AI that beat the fighter pilot 5-0. Now, I was also reading some things and listening to some stuff about like, what does that mean? Well, it's still in its infancy. They're still learning about it, and they have to set the parameters of the artificial intelligence because they allowed the jet to do things that you normally wouldn't do. You know, like there's certain maneuvers like coming head to head to another jet and shooting at them. Like that is something that is super difficult that you just don't, like fighter pilots don't do that. You know, they don't train to do that because, well, yeah, that's not real.
Yeah.
But in the AI, they didn't put that restriction on it. So it was doing whatever it wanted, regardless of whether it could crash or, well, maybe that is a good thing because AI isn't concerned with crashing or dying.
Right.
You know, so they can take more risks. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, but they were saying that it still has a long way to go.
Yeah. So I don't know how much time we have left, but
we got some time.
I would, if there is a parent out there who's dealing with a child who wants to go into the military, okay.
I thought you were going back to parent. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah.
What are some insights that you can give them?
Yeah.
When it comes to joining the Air Force, like why the Air Force versus the Marine Corps,
all the other ones?
Yeah.
So first of all, Air Force only. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I know we got friends everywhere that listen to this. No. You know what, man? Like the truth is, like my hat goes off to all the other branches, all the services. Because the truth is, like when I signed up, like I was down. I was down for whatever. Like, you know, if you want to train me and like send me to war, I'm like, let's do it. But
why did you choose the Air Force?
So originally I chose the Marines. Originally I chose the Marines, and the majority of my high school friends are Marines. The only thing is that when I was in high school, I hung out with kids that were a grade ahead of me in school. So they were all seniors and I was a junior, and they graduated and they all left to boot camp. And I was still like, I had already been to the recruiters. I still needed to wrap up my last year and then go into boot camp. So I had been to the Marine recruiter. I had done all the, the workout and all that kind of stuff. And then I ended up moving to Florida. And in Florida, my godmother's husband was, if you're in the military, he was an E9, a chief in the Air Force, which is the highest enlisted position that you could have. And he told me, he's like, before you go to the Marines, I want to show you the Air Force so you can see it. So I checked it out and I liked it. And at first I was kind of like thinking, well, what I want to do, I want to fight. So I know Marines have the reputation of being tough and they're warriors or whatever, so I'm going to do that. But then I started thinking, like, I like fixing stuff. Like, I've always liked taking stuff apart and fixing things, and like those fighter jets are pretty badass. And the way I saw it is, if I'm going to join something, then I want to join the best. Like, obviously the Air Force, their focus is the air, space, and all that. So if I'm going to work on fighter jets, I'm going to do it in the Air Force. So I ended up switching and joining the Air Force. Now, when it comes to the military, there's huge differences, because the Air Force is, when it comes to, like, I guess, like, the toughness or whatever, like, the Air Force doesn't focus on that as much unless you're in those career fields. Now, don't be mistaken. The Air Force does have some career fields where the training is insane. Like, they have special forces, they have pararescue, they have combat control and all that kind of thing. But when it comes to the other jobs, we don't train that hard, or like it's not as tough, like with the shooting and all the other things, because we don't do that. So we focus more on the attention to detail, and because when you mess something up on a jet, there's a chance that it can crash. So it's very, very serious.
So if one of our kids, if they decide to go to the military, what would you tell them to sell them on going to the Air Force versus any other branch?
So it depends on what they're thinking in the beginning. Are they planning on why are you joining? Because if you're joining because you love them, you love the thought of being in the military, you want to serve your country and you want to do that kind of thing, you want to spend 20 years in the military, then it's different. But if you want to just do 4 years, you want to get your college benefits and you want to get some experience doing something and you want to get out and then use the skills that you have, then that's different. Because if you want to do that, if you just want to get some skills, you want to get your college benefits, I would probably say the Air Force definitely. Actually, the Air Force probably definitely for both of them. If you want to stay in or you want to get your... Only because there's a lot of jobs that relate to the outside world. You know, if you join... if you're a fighter, you know, pretty much if you're a war fighter, in the civilian world, there's not a lot of demand for war fighters.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
When you get out, there's a handful of jobs. Like maybe you could be a cop. Like a lot of guys end up being cops or doing something, or you can train to do something else. But then you're kind of, the time that you were in doesn't really relate to what you're trying to do when you get out, you know? Where in the Air Force, you know, you could be a dental tech. You could work in the cafeteria. You could work on jets. You can be a cop. You can do a lot of different things, and they all will translate, or a lot of them will translate outside. Even if you do special forces, like if you're pararescue, like, yeah, you're carrying, you know, an M16 or an M4 and you're flying in helicopters, but you're also a paramedic. So when you get out, you can be a paramedic.
Gotcha.
You know, so I think the Air Force gives you a lot more options that relate to the outside world.
Okay.
You know, and as far as the quality of life, that's just known that the Air Force's quality of life is way better than a lot of the other branches.
Yeah. So when you got out of the Air Force, because I don't remember like all the jobs that you had after to lead you where you are today, because where you are today, being in the Air Force kind of got you in to where you are.
Yeah. The Air Force really helped. I mean, my career now, I wouldn't have this career if it wasn't for the Air Force, because it's hard to get experience where you just sign up and you're ours for 4 years now. So you just do what we tell you, and now I have 4 years experience because of the Air Force, right? So I signed up to work. So what did you do I worked on F-16s. I worked on jets. So I was a crew chief. I was in charge of pretty much, I had a jet that was assigned to me. And all the scheduled inspections, I had to know when scheduled inspections were coming up. Anything that was coming due, I had to make sure that it was getting done. Looking through the books, making sure that all the write-ups, that it was ready to fly. Anything that wasn't ready, I had to, you know, fix it or find somebody to fix it or work on it and then get, you know, the supervisor to come and sign it off and things like that. But pretty much like the jet was my responsibility. You know, they put your name on the jet, you know, so that's your jet that's assigned to you.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that was, so I learned how to work on jets there. And then that, when I got out in aviation, the techniques are all very similar. So I ended up getting a job working on helicopters when I got out. And then little by little, you know, like I've mentioned before, you just kind of stay focused, look around and learn new things, new skills. Because in the Air Force, I was a mechanic. Then I ended up picking up sheet metal skills as a civilian. And that opens up a whole bunch of doors that ended up getting me into different companies and different stuff like that. So but it all started with that. Yeah.
So when you're looking for a career in the military, you should think about what it is that you want to do after the military in order to decide what
to pick the best career
is for you.
And the thing is, I don't know, like if you're joining and you know that you want to stay in for 20 years or you want to retire from the military, then, you know, that's then maybe you can pick a career that's a little bit different depending on your plan. But even still, I mean, 20 years sounds like a long time, but when you sign up at 17, 18, like I did, like my friends, they signed up when they were 17. I signed up when I was 17. And, you know, 20 years goes by and it's not that long. Like it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but it's not that, like if I was still in, I'd be retiring next year from the military.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'd be 38. So you still have a whole nother life to live. And, you know, me personally, I would pick something that I'm going to use when I get out. You know, because if not, then, I mean, it's not like it's time wasted, but I could have used that to my advantage.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had a great experience. Like the friends that I had, the bonds that I had with some of the guys there that I still talk to today after, you know, like I said, 19 years. And I was only with them for a short period of time.
Did you travel much?
No. And that's just my experience. That is not the experience for most people. Like if you stay in any length of time, you're going to be traveling all over the world, you know? So I've got friends that are still in that have been everywhere.
Yeah. And that could be tough if you have a family.
That is another thing, because once you start getting a little bit older, you get married, you have kids. When you're young, it's no problem. You get sent wherever the hell they want to send you, and it's party time wherever you're at. But once you start getting a family, you have kids, it's not so easy to just pack it up and leave. But people do it. I mean, people are doing it now.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, definitely my hat's off to those. That's tough, man. When you got a family and you got to leave for a year or longer, it's not easy.
Oh, I can't imagine, you know, like being on my own.
Yeah.
You know, with the kids.
Yep. But no, it was great. There's some things that I saw while I was in that kind of changed. Like at first everything was relaxed, and I think it's kind of like everywhere. Like when I first signed up, everything was relaxed, everything was fun. Nobody really cared about much as long as we got our work done and we weren't getting in trouble. That's all that mattered. But little by little, you know, things started getting more and more uptight, and then it became a little bit less enjoyable. And then from what I've heard now, everything is way more uptight and crazier, you know. So I don't know what it's like today. This is just my experience from damn near 20 years ago.
Would you talk our kids out of it? That they decided that they wanted to go to the military?
I don't know. It depends on the job. And man, it's tough. I don't know. I really don't know. It like I said, it depends on the job. If our kids wanted to be, you know, if Joey wants to do special forces and he wants to, that break my heart, man. I don't want him doing that.
Yeah.
You know, but how do you tell somebody that, like, if he grows up and he's an adult and that's what he wants? Yeah, it's tough. It's not up to me.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, the hazing. We played pranks on each other. All kinds of stuff. It was fun. You know how like you have the opening of the jet. Like some of the best pranks that we played on each other. When you're new, you have to kind of get initiated. So we would kind of beat the crap. Well, we would get the crap beat out of us first.
Boys.
Yeah, that is pretty much what it is. You leave a bunch. It's like a fraternity.
Oh my goodness.
It's like a fraternity. You gotta do what you gotta do, and then once you're in, and then you get to fuck with everybody else. So no, at first
you guys do that at work today, or I mean, not today,
but
because your position's different.
You know what? Maybe that's just the mechanic culture where we're just constantly fucking with each other and playing pranks and jokes. But when I was new, like if you guys can imagine the exhaust of an F-16, which is huge. I mean, I would imagine the opening on the back of an F-16 where the engine's at is probably like, I don't know, maybe 4 feet or bigger, something like that. So it's a huge opening. Mm-hmm. And we would tell the new guys that there's a certain ratio of fuel to air, right, that you have to mix. And in order to find out if our jets are burning the fuel properly, we got to get a sample of the exhaust. So we need you to go get a garbage bag, and you have to go catch some of the exhaust while the jet is running. So they would go out there with a freaking garbage bag, and they're trying to catch some of the air that's coming out of the jet in a garbage bag. Are you kidding me?
Who would even believe that?
Babe, they don't know any better. They're freaking brand. And what are you going to do when somebody that outranks you, that's been there for a while, telling
you to go catch some air in a garbage bag?
This jet is due for, an exhaust sample. So go get it, and then we're going to take it to the test lab so that they can analyze it. And they be out there, and the freaking jet's just like, they're like, oh, fuck. The bags would get blown out of their hands. The other one is...
Wasn't anyone watching you guys? Like...
Yeah, like, we were all watching each other.
Oh, my.
Yeah, we would do that. There's gauges in the cockpit. We would have them put their mouth on one of the probes. And we're like, dude, you need to blow, because when the jet's flying, it's flying really fast. And this gauge, it picks up the airspeed, the data.
Yeah.
So you have to blow in it pretty hard so that it's like a check for the gauge to make sure that it's working. But you have to blow pretty much as hard as the jet's going to fly in order to get this gauge to move. So they would be down on the floor, and we would be in the cockpit, like trying not to laugh. And we'd be like, dude, it's not moving. You need to blow harder. And they're down there freaking blowing, trying to get this thing to move.
Nice.
And then besides that, we would tie each other up and, kidnap other people from other squadrons.
Kidnap other people.
And tie them up and then throw them out on the flight line somewhere. And then we would get into fights on the flight line. And that's when it all started going downhill. When they said we couldn't do that.
Sounds like a whole lot of fun. So, hey.
With all the good, the bad, and I got into a bunch of trouble. I ended up getting kicked out, like I've mentioned before. But I have no animosity. Like, it was all my own doing. I messed up, and, I loved it. I loved the time that I was in. It was one of the best experiences that I've had. There are some things that, bug me that are kind of hypocritical or whatever of the military, but, it's just...
It is what it is.
It is what it is,
And if you didn't get kicked out, we wouldn't have met.
Exactly. So
I'm so thankful that you got kicked out.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, regret it too much.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a good time. It was good.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were 18?
I was having fun.
Where were you working?
I don't remember. I was in college. I was going to college.
You going to Phoenix College?
I was going to Phoenix College, and I think I was a lead at Little Caesars.
Damn, making them pizzas.
I was. Yeah, I think I was a lead. I don't know. It's so hard for me to remember, but I know I was on my own because as soon as I turned 18, I said, bye-bye, mommy. And then I never looked back. Yeah. But I did pretty well for myself because I was so wanting not to live with struggle because I grew up, witnessing the struggle. And I decided at a very young age, at 9 years old, that I wasn't going to live that life when I saw my mom looking for change, in the sofa cushions. And that was very scary as a 9-year-old, knowing that, okay, there is no money whatsoever if she's,
if she's looking in the cushions.
Yeah. So I always focused on my education and doing what I had to do so that I wouldn't live that life.
They don't make kids like they used to.
They don't. You're gonna have to say we don't make kids like we used to, or like they used to.
No, I'm talking about everything, man. Like straight up. When I was a kid, I remember if I wanted money, you know what I used to do for money? You know what I used to put in my mouth? No, I'm just kidding. You know what I used to do for money? No. I remember me and a couple of my friends, like we would go to the park, we would go around the neighborhood, and we would get trash bags. And we would go through the trash and collect cans. Like literally. Not my cans from my house. I would go to the fucking park and collect cans, and then we would put them in a bag. We would take them to the recycling place, and they would give us each like a couple dollars, and then we would go get ice cream or something. Well,
let me tell you what the deal is. Okay? We lived that life. We did. You and I lived that life.
Yeah.
Our kids are not living that life. They're not witnessing the struggle.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, that's where the change is. If we decide to, okay, you know what? Let's sell everything and
Well, that's what, when it comes to appreciating things, when it comes to not just fucking throwing shit away, like food for one, is all right, well, we'll save that. We can eat that later. It's like, oh, well, no, I don't eat leftovers. And I'm like wait, what?
Excuse me?
You fucking crazy? What?
Our daughter said that the other day, and Miguel's like, what kind of bougie?
Yo. I was blind.
Oh, and I told asada. Okay, it just wasn't any.
It was good leftovers.
Right?
The fuck?
But that's what it is. You know, the reason why we are the way we are is because we lived it. We grew up in it.
That one hurt.
You know,
there's things sometimes when kids say things, and I'm like, all right. They're missing something.
Yes.
And that's because of me. Because of us.
It's because of us.
Right? And I was like, well, we can fix this real quick. It's like, we're going to be eating fresh food, and guess what you're eating? Nothing but leftovers for a month. You get all our leftovers, and next time you won't say shit.
And I think, too, like before, like we would take them out, you know, and we would feed the homeless. There's bags upstairs of stuff that we're donating.
Yeah.
It's getting them more involved and getting them to see that there are individuals that are struggling, that are less fortunate, so that they can be have that gratitude, you know, for what they have. But because with the whole coronavirus, we have completely stopped doing.
We turned into hermits, man. We're just inside the house. Yeah.
You know, and now is the age to show them, because when we were doing it, they were younger. They didn't quite understand. Now they understand.
Yeah.
Now's the time, you know, to get them involved. But how do we go about doing that with everything that's going on?
I don't know. We got to
figure it out. We got to do it, because it starts with us. Whatever that response that she said, we're creating that monster.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
You know, and the thing of it though is, when I take them to the store though, you know, they look at prices. Yeah. They're aware.
It's just it's little things every once in a while. Something slips and you're like, we fucked up.
But where did that come from? Because I've never, I don't know. I need to talk to her and find, because I don't know where that came from.
There was another one. I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been with Joey or Audrey or some. I can't remember, one of them. But something else came up a while back, and I was like, every once in a while something comes up, and you're just like, that's a reflection. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that sucks. You know?
Well, so they're still little, so those are things that we can
and we're still learning. So. And if you guys want to keep learning and pick up one of those books, make sure you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com, click on the support the show tab, and you guys can purchase the stuff through there. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you guys being with us. And we will talk to you guys. Actually, you know, before we get out of here, if you guys have anything for us, if you have any questions, if you guys want to ask us anything, because we do a lot of talking. If you guys want to talk to us and ask us questions, let us know how we're doing, you guys can give us a call at 480-912-5128. That's 480-912-5128. So give us a call. Let us know what you think. And
until next time,
we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.